Hello everyone, Burb here. Let's go and finish this series by talking about the end closers for the Sagittarius Cup. This is probably the meta role, and it's what a lot of people have been waiting on, so without further ado, let's begin. So our end closer is good. They're probably, like I said, the best role. This is a long CM, so they have the highest spurt speed, so naturally they're going to be very good in the late race, and the late race is longer than a lot of other CMs. In addition, they have straightaway spurt. Straightaway spurt is the only reliable acceleration option in the game, so you do not have to really gamble on it. It is simply just a wit check. Because of this, though, 90% of your success is probably just based on whether or not straightaway spurt actually procs. And there's some ways to mitigate it, but a lot of times it is just as simple as do you hit the wit check. In addition, most of the characters that are available for end closers generally are missing a few of the required skills, so you have to go and search for them in either cards or parents, and because of this, they are harder to build than the other roles, especially late surgers, which are the other main option for this CM. Again, this is a backliner focused CM, which means not you can run the pace chaser in the fronts, but you should assume that there are going to be other end closers, especially, and other late surgers in the lobby. As a reminder, your end closer inherits. You are the same as late surgers because you're both fighting for 6th and 5th position. You are talking about Measure Dober and Measure Orion, the two ultimates that are acceleration, and your secondaries are pretty much any late race or mid race speed skill that can proc consistently. The only two caveats is one, end closers, because of their straightaway spurt, you already have a reliable acceleration, so you may only need one of these two instead of both of them. In addition, these two, there is the argument that if you're in 6th place as an end closer, are you really winning anyway? So take those two things into consideration. In my opinion, I think they are a very good failsafe to at least get one of them. A lot of people think that you need to just be rolling high wit every single time. That just simply doesn't happen. And honestly, LPSI and from beyond, they're both very good acceleration options, and I think they make a good addition to the plethora of acceleration options that end closers have. So let's talk about them. The only required one is straightaway spurt on the left. It'll always just help you win races. It'll always proc at the same time every time. And there's two caveats to this. One, it's a wit roll, of course. So when we're talking about 500 wit-ish, which any more wit is nice, but the 500 minimum wit, really, you're talking about a 75 to 80% chance of procking, so one of every 5 races, it just simply won't proc. In addition, because the spurt is only, the straightaway at the late race is only 33 meters long in the acceleration zone and immediately turns into a corner, if you do not have enough stamina and you go into the wit check mode where your Uma goes and tries to path out the best option to wait until it starts spurting, well, you're going to miss the straight, unfortunately, and you will not proc straightaway spurt. So you need to make sure you hit the stamina requirement with a gold recovery as well as hit the wit check. That is how you proc straightaway spurt as consistent as possible. Again, as talked about in the late surger one, moving past and beyond and pump iron, which are the two measure alts, they are only about 33 meters late, so they're a good addition if you happen to be in 6th or 5th place. They will help you. The one most people will probably get is Nimble Navigator or No Stopping Me. It very frequently procs early, as well as just being the strongest acceleration skill in terms of actual payoff. It is a little bit finicky, and that is why you need straightaway spurt, and the other ones are just simply optional. Notably, again, Nimble Navigator and Ignited Spirit both have dead zones this CM because of the length of the final spurt. Umastan, I will not go as far to say it's required, but it is what will really help, especially Gold Ship and also pretty much every single end closer, because it pace breaks you at the start, and in general it is just a very good speed skill in an end closer situation where they are very much lacking in mid-race speed skills. So at any point in the game, if Umastan procs, it is very good for you, and there will be a lot of end closers, enough certainly to proc Umastan. Again, end closers, they kind of have a little bit of an issue of not really having many mid-race speed skills, and in general, because of end closers' higher spurt speed, Whereas before, I was really talking about how late race speed skills are very, very good on them on the other rolls. They're pretty much balanced in end closers. So your mid race speed skills, getting your straights and getting your corners, are quite important this CM. Straightaway adept, corner adept, it's on is always a good one to combo. And of course, your gambling options are slipstream and playtimes only. Playtime's over. The only end closer real focused one is early start, and from what I've been told, it's not that great until you get the gold version, but it is still there as a mid-race speed skill, and a lot of characters do not have very good mid-race in general, and so you'll be going just purely off of raw wit, which will generally be low, and it'll just be low. So the mid-race speed skills are required. You need at least a couple of them if you can handle it. So late race speed skills. The only real one for end closers is innate experience or inside scoop. That's the long CM one, and of course mini just ultimates. They're there as a bonus. Again, these are not skill point efficient, so these late race ultimate inherits are good if you have the bonus skill points. But really, honestly, just inside scoop is really the only late race speed skill that's pretty good. Again, you want to run your strongest cards if possible. There is a caveat for end closers because of straightaway spurt, but of course, as stated before, Kidison Black has a lot of good skills. Super Creek and Rice Shower both have a lot of good skills built into their kit. A lot of end closers have gold recoveries though, so Rice Shower's value goes down a little bit. For end closers, you have the same ones as the other rolls with King Hela and Matekane Futikaru, but Sweep Tosho naturally gives After School Stroll as a hint, so that is useful for Oguri Christmas. We'll talk about that later. And the big ones is how are you going to get straightaway spurt in Umastan? Well, your Umastan options are King Halo and Nakayama Festa. Those two, if you're able to borrow them, they are a nice bonus, so you don't have to get it through parents. Again, Umastan's not required. It is just helps you out to a point where it probably increases your win rate by about 10%. Straightaway spurt is required, and the best option, in my opinion, is if you're able to borrow Sweep Tosho Speed. Sweep Tosho speed output is about the same as Biko Pegasus' speed output. It's just a little bit worse at the other training effectiveness, so the other different trainings. Hishi Amazon is also a good option as it is a hint, which means that it'll be part of the blue explosion pool, and it does not actually lose you that much stamina, especially in double power decks. Air Shakur is honestly, I have tried it, it's not a good card. It's not good enough. You lose so much wit, and your mid-race suffers immensely. So an entire Air Shakur run, well, if you're able to either borrow an Air Shakur, you just have it as a slot in your deck. Air Shakur, you'll probably have about 450 to 500 wit. If you were to run a fine motion or even a nice nature, you're pushing 700, 800 wit just from that one card alone. So you're sacrificing like 200 to 300 wit just for straightaway spurt guaranteed. Only do this if you are absolutely jaded, like I was at one point, and you just keep losing the 50-50 on Sweep Tosho. Honestly, the Sweep Tosho is probably the best option. Notably, the Gold Ship, both of them actually have a lot of these hints, but Gold Ship, the welfare card, is incredibly unreliable because it has very bad speed output because it does not have any specialty priority, but it does have a hint for straightaway spurt for Umastan, and it does have guaranteed gold innate experience. It is very much a very high variance, a very high gambling card, and I honestly think with this CM being so difficult to hit your stat requirements, not as bad as Libra, but it's still pretty difficult, especially when you're trying to weaken your build just to get spurt. This I don't think is the best option, but it's certainly there if you don't have the cards anyways. So, all right, let's talk about characters. Taishin, I think, will be the strongest end closer besides Oguri Christmas, which has its own caveats, but it's mostly because straightaway spurt is good and guaranteed. So encroaching shadow is better because it is gold. So it is just about 2 straightaway spurts. She also has 10% speed bonus, which helps a lot. Otherwise, she has a very hard career. She does come with end closer straights and early start if you win 7 or more of the races on that list. Narita Trishan, probably the strongest mainline end closer Uma to build. The one that most people are probably going to build is Gold Ship, and I highly suggest building a Gold Ship and just biting the bullet rather. decent. 20% stamina will help you a little bit, but not the greatest, not having any speed or wit, but it will allow you to build either power builds or just a singular super creek to get to 901. So decent stat bonuses. Anchors Away is honestly the most broken thing in Gold Ship's kit, because Anchors Away is a very, very strong mid-race skill. Again, it is basically 2.5 mid-race skills built into one. And because of that, she just naturally has good mid-race, which is one of Encloser's big problems, is how are we going to push up early in the race. She does come with Umastan, which is one of the harder skills to do. So all you have to do is just 50-50 on Sweep Tosho for straightaway spurt and put it in your parents. So if you get spurt on her and you get your stats, you have a working Gold Ship, and you can move on to either just having fun or moving to the other roles. She does have an innate gold recovery. A lot of times you just want to pick Swinging Maestro because Gold Home Specialist is 360 skill points. She also has non-standard distance as well. If you were to pick the 50-50 for Slacker, which is not recommended, but it is there. So again, Gold Ship, very strong and a free-to-play option. Highly suggest building this horse. Mayano Top Gun is probably the easiest horse to build if you are not me, because my Mayano runs are cursed. She naturally, by winning one as each roll, gets straightaway spurt for free. She is End B, so you do need some End Spark, so it's a little bit harder to get long S. But she comes with No Stopping Me. She comes with Bofa. You can run Rice Shower and get the cooldown hints to save a little bit of skill points for other mid-race and late-race skills. She comes with everything you need. So that's pretty much what it is. You can try to put Umastan on her. It's pretty good. Other than that, the horse doesn't really give you much else except an easy run. Manhattan Cafe is buildable with a 30% stamina bonus. You just won't have to worry about stamina. You generally want to just put speed and power sparks on her. She comes with long straights and long corners, depending on the number of long wins you do in career. Two or more will give you long straights, and 6 or more will give you long corners. She comes with a gold recovery stamina siphon, which actually doubles as a minor debuff. It is not as good as the medium ones, but it is certainly enough to really scare all the people who don't have their stamina. So day 1, 2, it's really going to help you out. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Oguri Christmas. Her positives: she is the strongest character in the game. Gold Ship might be stronger with her mid-race skill. However, she is probably I haven't beat her in an Encloser position yet in room matches. She comes with 15% speed and 15% stamina. If built correctly and she procs her wit checks, she will pretty much win the game. So in that case, she is basically Exodia from Yu-Gi-Oh! You get everything you need, and it's sort of GG. You're going to win enough to get to A finals and possibly just win the entire race. Her first problem is she is ND, so you have to run 10 sparks to get her to Encloser. You also, which makes it so you only have 6 spark slots, so 2 spark slots for 6 sparks for distance S. You are basically going to have to run a lot of runs just to get long S. Okay, that's their first hurdle you have to get through. The next hurdle is getting Festive Miracle to proc right. There's only 3 skills in the game for Enclosers that are reliable. You can run straight recovery, but you're adding additional RNG on top of a character that is very much RNG. So corner recovery, we've talked about this before. You can get this from Kittison. You can get this from King Halo Power. If you are getting Umastan off of it, you can get this from King Halo Regular. You can also get this from Super Creek. I don't know why that is not up there, but I am dumb. All right, After School Stroll is the other required one. They are only available through hints, which is the big problem with After School Stroll. So you need to put it on your parents, and you need to have at least one of these characters. Most likely, you will be 50-50ing for Sweep Tosho, or you will be using the Sweep Tosho speed card anyways. So you will be having this one, and you will basically have an RNG for getting long S and RNG for getting After School Stroll. 777 is built in, and that is the trigger point that will trigger the acceleration for Festive Miracle. That is hurdle number 2. Hurdle number 3 is she doesn't really come with any skills that are required for Enclosers, because she is Encloser D. Like I said, she does come with Winter Runner, and she does come with Inside Scoop, which are 2 very good skills this CM, but she is missing straightaway spurt and Uma stand. So those are 2 skills. And if you're gonna do this character to try to hit just win the game, you might as well try and get your straightaway spurt and your Uma stand from parents or from one of the cards mentioned above. The final hurdle is that you need to get 900 plus wit, because that is when you get 90% skill proc rate, which means that you need to hit 3 wit checks exactly. If you hit 3 wit checks, you win. If you hit 2, well, your ult doesn't even proc. If you miss a singular wit check, it's just a dead run. And at 900 wit and 93% skill proc weight, well, that's about a 70% chance if you do the permutation math. So what you do is you sacrifice stamina. You go down to about 700 to 750 stamina, and you do 900 plus wit with the same other stats, and there you go. That's what you do. So if you assemble all of the 5 pieces of Exodia, you get your ND with your long S, you get your 3 recoveries, these specific 3 recoveries, you proc Festive Miracle, you get a Dober ult or a Measure Orion ult just as a bonus, or no stopping me. You need to still have the other acceleration skills while still getting enough mid-race skills, as well as getting straightaway spurt and Umastan, and also getting your 900 wit that you need. Well, congratulations, you have Exodia. You are probably 50-50ing the win with the other Oguri Christmas. But again, like I was saying, this may be the strongest strategy in the game right now. It is very RNG dependent. You're going to have to do a ton of runs. It is almost like building a front runner, honestly. And so it is an option if you have your other Umas built already. I wouldn't suggest building this as your first Uma. So build your other easier Umas to make first, and then build this one if you own the character. Or just don't build it and build her Late Surger or Pace Chaser and just move on, because it's still very strong. It's just not the end-all be-all. So in conclusion, end closers, they win by straightaway spurt plus another Excel procking at a good time. So if you add your Measure Orion or your Measure Odober or your No Stopping Me, and 1 2 of those proc, you pretty much win the game. The only other role that can really contest it is a Lucky Pacer or a Let's Pump Some Iron perfect procking Late Surger as well, because Late Surgers can always just win. In addition, they win by having high wit, and their mid-race skills carry them through the mid-game, and then their final spurt just being carried by the fact they're end closers, and also just being gold chip, because gold chip just wins races inexplicably. So this is the conclusion of the Sagittarius Guide series. That's end closers. They're quite simple. Get straightaway spurt on a character that is end A or better, and try to win the game. Play gold chip. That's really the suggestion. I wanted to add another slide here. This is how I have fun. You can do what you want. I find that these CMs, they're 50% trying to win, 50% getting the carrots, right? That's that part, and 50% not burning yourself out. Build 1 meta Uma. That'll get you to A finals. Last CM, that was Taiki Shuttle. Taiki Shuttle won 43 races for me and the finals. But then go and try to build one of your characters you actually really, really enjoy. So if you love the meta Umas, go right ahead. For me, like I said, I usually just build the ticket because it's fun. The character is really fun to build. When you actually are watching your races and you see your fun Uma just actually win the race, because they're going to win probably, single-digit races on the first days, hey, that's a little bit bonus to actually watching your races. And then finally, build an Uma that furthers the account. For me, this time, this was Measure Odober. Like I was saying, the Late Surger video, Measure Odober can only get up to long B, but you want parents that are long, that are Measure Odober for this CM, for next CM, and beyond. If you have Measure Orion, it's the same way. If you're a gambling main, you need parents of Measure Odober and Measure Orion, so why not try to make aces of them? If they fail, you make them parents, and you roll on the parent table, basically, and hey, sometimes you get a 3-star blue, 3-star red spark, and you have a godparent. Sometimes if you hit 2 long sparks, you have long S, and there you go. So you're furthering your account while also trying to build Umas, and that's also going to make you not burn out, especially if you build your meta Uma pretty quickly and you build a good Oshi Uma. Well, at that point, you just further your account through parents, but parent building is honestly pretty boring. So this is a way to do your parent building and getting a little bit more out of it. After that, just remake copies of 2 and 3 over and over again. I think the meta UMA, just having a passable meta UMA is just enough. If you really want to, you can go and try to high roll them, but I find I get frustrated on it. So it's really fun just to keep building your favorite UMA over and over again until you just hit the god roll, and then just keep building Dobers and Ryans, or El Condor Pasas are good for mediums or corner tracks. You can build Rudolphs if you enjoy Rudolph. Rudolph's Ultimate is also very good as a secondary, stuff like that. So this is just my suggestions. This is how I have fun. I just wanted to add this little addendum because this is the last Sagittarius Cup guide this time. We'll be coming back for the Chukyo 1200 meter sprint. So I wish you all the best of luck in Sagittarius Cup. This has been Burb. Burb out.